episode 36, part 1 of Kenya's premier sports video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. We're back after a 2-week break, and my does it feel good to be back. Now, the Kenya Simbas are still on this windy road to Japan, and we'd like to remind you how to support them. Jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan, as we know they are the superstars of rugby in Kenya. I'm Demima Duffield.
This is Ngashi, official noisemaker.
Jeringus Kenyana.
Alright, so the feature game for this week was Kenya versus Hong Kong, where it ended up in a draw, 19-19. Give me your thoughts on the game.
Simbas had a slow start. I must say that the guys really took some time to settle into the game. But once the guys settled, we started playing our game. And I must commend the forwards, especially our loose forwards. Those guys at the breakdowns, wow, it was fantastic. We had a couple of turnovers from the ball when we were defending. And when they attacked us, especially the first half, they visited our 22. They had about 15 phases before they even got to score their try. And that defense I must really commend. Of course, we lost conceded the try. Yeah. But those guys really had a very good game, especially the breakdowns. However, the scrums, there's still an issue kidogo. There's some problems over there that need to be worked on, because we considered a lot of penalties on the scrum, and which was a little bit disappointing. Yeah.
I think it's good that you mentioned the forwards, because a lot of the forwards that played in that game hadn't been first pick before, or hadn't even been on the team.
Yeah.
So I think they did well. What do you think?
No. First, breakdowns, that one I have to comment, especially from a defensive standpoint. We had a problem when we were going on an attack in terms of securing our own ball. There were a couple of times you had a turnover because we didn't have too many men at the rack. Yeah. And of course, Hong Kong being Bali, they're always going to disturb us at the rack. Therefore, securing our ball was a problem. On the defensive side, I think our loose forwards had a very good game in terms of contesting the breakdown. We were able to get a couple of penalties off such good work. We were able to get a turnover ball off this good work. So I think, as Ngusa said, we need to give props to our back rows. For the scrum, it was shaky at the beginning, but then they stabilized towards the end of the game. I think maybe it could be that the Hong Kong guys were tired, because you were seeing
also our subs.
Yes, also our subs, exactly. Also our subs. Our starting props, to me, I didn't feel had a good game. That's James Kubasu and Dennis Karani. When Bram Mayaka and Oscar Sorano came in, I think they had a very decent game, and that's why we were able to be better in the scrummaging. And our second rows, of course, Emmanuel Mavala was always going to have a problem filling in the shoes of Wilson Kopondo. And it was his first outing, but I think with time he's going to be able to get into the role.
He had a funny moment.
Where he didn't know exactly what was happening, the rules. I still had a problem with our 9-10 combination, especially 10. I think, of course, Biko Adema was supposed to start, and he got injured 4 minutes into the game. I think Kenny Andola was thrown in early. He wasn't ready for it. It took him very long to settle down. I don't even think he settled down throughout the whole game.
I agree.
Yeah, so our 12-13 combination, there were times on defense we were having a problem, because they actually scored a try off the 12-13 combination. But our back three were excellent. Vincent Mose, Alex Olaba, and Dennis Mahaji.
They had a very good game.
Yes, exactly. They had a very good game. That one I have to give to them.
All right, so going into the next game, or rather even before we go into the next game, just looking at that game, in the first half Kenya were really struggling, and then the second half seemed to sort of pull up their socks. What do you think happened for us to cause that shift, basically?
I think it boils down to whatever they were told at halftime. I think the guys needed to rile up a little bit, and I'm glad about the leadership on the pitch, especially yesterday. You could see it wasn't that different as compared to when Kopondo left, when Wilson Kopondo left and Darwin took over. I think when you have the leadership in the forwards, they can actually rile up the guys. The backs can even feed off that. So once the forwards are playing a good game, the backs can also step up. So coming in, the guy had a very fantastic game.
He did.
And guys fed off that. So I think it's just playing as a team.
All right, so going into our next game, which is the last test match for Kenya against Hong Kong this coming Saturday, what do you think we need to prepare in terms of, I mean, we don't want another draw, obviously. So, what do you think we need to do?
I think number one is going to come from the mental aspect. Our guys need to be mentally sharp. Reason being, my guess is as good as anyone that our first team is going to be playing on Saturday. Therefore, the last game they played was against Namibia, our first team. Therefore, I think they'll need to have that in check in terms of mentally being there. That leadership thing is going to play a big part. And for me, the biggest thing is that this is the first time this season we are seeing Wilson Kopondo and Oliver Mangeni partner. Most likely that's going to be the starting lineup. Second row pairing. This is the first time we're going to see them partner. I like Wilson. Kopo, of course, is Kopo. He's the captain and he does his work. I like Oliver Mangeni. Even yesterday, brother, this past weekend when you saw them play Hong Kong, you saw it was his old head that was able to, make guys calm down and everything. So I think coming into that, I think Oliver is going to bring in another aspect. Isaac Adimo at number 10, because I'm guessing he's not going to start. He needs to marshal our backs. David Ambunya is out. I don't know what the center pairing is going to be. So he really needs to get our backs moving because we'll only be able to beat Hong Kong on quick ball.
All right, what do you?
And resolute defense on the backs, the backs especially. Because I think these guys learned from what happened last year. Because we really out-trained them. We used our backs efficiently. And these guys have also stepped up. Their backs are running. It's crazy, man. Our guys also had a very long day this past week, the first test. You could see, as Nash had pointed out earlier, we considered a try in the middle of the park, the guys, the backs. So we think we need to work on our defense. And these missed tackles, they might cost us.
All right, well, best of luck to Kenya in their next game. That's it for episode 36, part 1. Now, Kenya host Hong Kong again this coming Saturday on the 26th of August. We'd love to see you all there. It's on a Saturday, not a Sunday, so you have no excuse not to be there. You can also find us on social media. That is by liking our Facebook page, following us on Instagram, and also subscribing to our YouTube channel. I'm Demima Duffield.
This is Nash, your official noisemaker.
Jeringus Kenyana.
See you in part 2.